We're going to talk about some gospel today. I'm not going to play the whole thing just now, but I want to talk about it. This is a tune called Mitch's Moves by Parris Bowens, who unfortunately died in 2021 at the young age of 40. So rest in peace to an amazing musician. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about in this tune, mainly two things. The first thing you might have already heard is how it keeps modulating, right? It keeps changing keys. So we start in the key of D flat, and then we modulate to the key of E, and then to the key of G, then to the key of B flat. Now, some of you may already know that creates a diminished chord, right? Because we're modulating in minor third intervals. So that creates a diminished chord. So then after B flat, you get back to D flat, and then it just keeps repeating. So this is a really cool way to just practice these four keys. And I actually think Parris wrote this as a way for himself to practice. You know, it's a really good tool. And then that's not going to take you through all 12 keys, obviously. So you'll have to play the tune in these set of keys. So like D, F, A flat, B, which creates its own diminished chord, and then in these four keys. So that's the first thing. And then why don't we talk about the chord progression a little bit? Right, we start on the 1, and then we go to a secondary dominant. And this is actually the second thing I wanted to talk about, is the dominant 7th voicing that he uses. So it's F7 going to B flat minor, but instead of just doing F7 right here in root position, right, he does, man, that's so cool because of this bass motion. It's lovely. All right, and then we get to B flat minor, and then he does it again. So after the 6th chord, the B flat minor, we're gonna go to the 4, G flat. But instead of just going straight to 4, we do a secondary dominant. So we go to D flat 7, and then to our G flat. But once again, he doesn't just play D flat 7 root position. He does the D flat 7 in second inversion, just like the F7 we looked at first, right? The same exact thing, right? And then one more time, after this G flat major, he goes to B flat 7, which is the secondary dominant of the 2 chord coming up, but he does it in the second inversion. So we have the 5th in the bass. So let's sum all that up so far. It's a nice little walk down. We go from D flat to F7, right? And then to B flat minor, then to D flat 7, then to G flat, and then to B flat 7, then finally to E flat minor. All right, so 3 of those really cool dominant chord voicings. Okay, and after we go to the 2 chord, we go to F7, so the 5 of the 6 again, but this time we're just doing it in root position. And then the 6, pretty standard stuff from here. 5 to the 4, 1 inversion, right? 1 over 3, also known as like drop 2. And then 2 dominant, then the 5 but sus. Now, a lot of times in his live playing, he will go from here to here. So he's doing the 5 sus to the 1 sus, but the 1 sus is actually the 5 of what's coming which is F sharp minor. This is how we get into our new key. We're gonna do a 2-5-1 to the new key, that's it. So we have F sharp minor, and then B sus. Now we're in E. All right, so it's really just a 2-5. Right, that's really it. Just a 2-5 to the new key. And he does it in a really cool way with all these descending fifths. So let's go over that one more time. So after we get to the 2 dominant in the key of D flat, we go to the 5, right, standard. But here we go to the 1, remember? But that 1 is gonna be dominant. And then that 1 goes down to 5th, which becomes the 2 of the next chord. That leads us to the 2-5, right? Really cool. And then we just keep doing the same thing, right? And a really cool thing about this, it's really gonna challenge you on how you would voice these chords differently depending on the range, right? Where am I? Yeah. Right? So really, really cool tune to practice. It'll help you navigating these different keys. Remember to practice it starting in those 3 different places so you get through all 12 keys. And then something cool you can extract from all this too is that dominant voicing, right? And that second inversion. Such a lovely gospel sound. So, happy practicing.